皆様、こんにちは。日本維新の会参議院議員の音喜多俊
Hello
と申します。
everyone, I am Shun Otokita, a member of the House of Councillors of the Japan Innovation Party. Thank you for inviting me to the 5th International Symposium on Overdiagnosis of Juvenile Thyroid Cancer today. I was scheduled to speak at the venue, but I can no longer attend due to the decision to dissolve the House of Representatives. I am very sorry about that. This time I will be speaking in the form of a video letter. I will speak for about 20 minutes. Before I talk about my involvement with the issue of thyroid cancer, I would like to talk about why I became a politician, as this is related. I graduated from university at the age of 22 and worked for a company. The Great East Japan earthquake was what made me want to become a politician. During that time, I often visited the Tohoku region as a volunteer. At first, I helped carry out mud and luggage, but I soon began to want to help heal the hearts of the residents, so I started an NPO. There is a picture book called Guri and Gura, in which two mice make a giant castile cake with his friend in the forest. Our NPO was the only organization that could recreate this giant castile cake. At first, we made giant castile cakes at the barbecue site in Tokyo. This was very well received, so I thought that if we did it in the disaster area, people would gather and it would become a bright topic. We took a barbecue set and a giant frying pan to the middle of the temporary housing, mixed eggs together to make them rise, and made them together and ate them together. We carried out such activities at the end of our relief efforts to solve problems such as elderly people not going outside and children having no place to play. During these activities, we faced reputational damage. We carried a frying pan around with us and visited various towns. When we were baking castile cake in one town, I was asked where the frying pan had been used before. When I asked why they said that if it was a frying pan used in Fukushima, they didn't want to be brought there. I was very shocked. I was surprised that even people who live in the same disaster area really think that Fukushima is contaminated with radiation and that it is a problem if people or goods from Fukushima are brought there. There were people who said that they wanted relief activity using goods brought from Fukushima to stop because it is related to food. After these experiences, I became a politician. After serving as a member of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly, I became a member of the House of Councillors. I focused on environmental issues and policy formation based on scientific evidence, and I am in charge of policy formation at the Japan Innovation Party. I'd like to tell you how I became involved with the issue of thyroid cancer. It all started with a petition from a doctor in Fukushima Prefecture. The doctor was concerned that the thyroid examination in Fukushima was causing overdiagnosis, resulting in anxiety and unnecessary burdens for children. I realized that this was an important policy issue with a large social impact. I focused on the fact that the decisions without scientific evidence could have a major impact on people's lives and futures. I once made a big mistake. When I was a member of the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly, the issue of relocating the market to Toyosu arose. As many of you may remember, when the market was moving from Tsukiji to Toyosu, rumors spread that Toyosu was dangerous because it contained benzene and other substances. From a scientific point of view, there was no problem, but the relocation was delayed due to rumors, and I regret that I was involved in that. At that time, I realized that it is very important to proceed with policies based on the scientific evidence without succumbing to rumors. Based on this reflection, I believe that careful and thorough discussion is necessary regarding the thyroid examination while placing importance on scientific evidence. In the case of Toyosu market, something that seems obvious when you just look at the numbers did not go well because people's feeling did not follow. Since scientific discussion alone will not work, I think it is important to proceed with the discussion while taking into consideration the issue of feelings. Overdiagnosis of thyroid cancer is an important issue that concerns the recovery and future of Fukushima after the nuclear plant accident. The best solution should be found while taking into consideration scientific facts and the feelings of the resident. It is with this thought that I have been asking questions and making proposals in the diet. I have asked about the issue of the thyroid examination a total of 6 times from February 2020 to March 2022. I was the first to raise this issue in the diet, and I think I was able to create an opportunity for many people to recognize its importance. The first question was asked in February 2020 at the Research Committee on Resources and Energy. I pointed out the possibility that the thyroid examination may be causing overdiagnosis and received a clear answer from the Ministry of the Environment that there is no association between radiation exposure and thyroid cancer. The second question was asked at the same committee in May of the same year, when the thyroid examination had been suspended due to the spread of COVID-19 infection, and I proposed that the examination should be terminated. However, there was no specific response. The third time was in June 2020 at the Special Committee on Reconstruction after the Great East Japan earthquake, when I asked the Minister of Reconstruction whether he should recommend the prefecture to stop the examination. The minister only replied that he would strive to spread correct knowledge. The fourth time was in April 2021 at the Budget Committee, when I asked Minister of the Environment Koizumi about ensuring the voluntary nature of the examination. The minister replied that it is important to ensure that those who want to be tested can be tested, and those who do not want to be tested do not have to. The fifth time was in February 2022 at the Research Committees on Resources and Energy, when I took up a problematic letter written by 5 former prime ministers. This letter contains various things about Fukushima and nuclear plant accident, but it includes a scientifically unfounded statement that many children are suffering from thyroid cancer, which I pointed out could encourage discrimination and prejudice against children in Fukushima. During the questioning related to this, the response was that the collection of consent forms at schools would be cancelled. The final sixth time was in the Budget Committee in March 2022. Minister Yamaguchi was asked why the government was taking the half-hearted approach of continuing the examination at schools. The minister responded that they were ensuring voluntariness by distributing leaflets and other information. These 6 questions have made some progress. The Ministry of the Environment has recognized overdiagnosis, recorded it in the minutes of the diet, and began to take measures against it. Effort had been started to ensure the voluntary nature of the examination. However, important issues remain. The most important issue is that the examination itself is continuing at schools. Even if it is said that the examination is voluntary, children are likely to be pressured to conform within the school, and it cannot be said that voluntary in the true sense is ensured. In addition, the scientific basis for continuing the testing is unclear, and concerns about the adverse effects of overdiagnosis and damage to reputations have not been resolved, which remain major issues. This issue is not just a medical issue, but an important one related to Fukushima's reconstruction and the elimination of harmful rumors. In order to ensure that unnecessary burdens and anxiety are not placed on our children's futures, and that policies truly contribute to Fukushima's reconstruction, I am not sure what my status will be, as there will be a general election soon. But if I am able to continue as a member of the Diet, I will continue to work tenaciously until I achieve result. I was able to clarify the problems through my questions in the Diet, but I would like to work toward a concrete goal next term. The top priority should be the complete abolition of the examination in schools. Even if voluntary testing is taught in the school environment, peer pressure is unavoidable. We will promote the transition to completely voluntary examination at medical institutions. Next, we believe that a re-evaluation of the thyroid examination based on scientific evidence is essential. We would like to establish an independent organization that brings together domestic and overseas experts to objectively evaluate current examination. We will also focus on providing accurate information. We will promote public relations activities that clearly convey scientific facts. It is also important to evaluate measures against reputational damage. We would like to focus on accurate information dissemination and measures against reputational damage. In addition, we aim to build an international cooperation system. We would like to work with international organizations such as the WHO and the IAEA. I will continue to ask questions and make proposals in the Diet. In addition, I will continue to promote dialogues with local governments and experts and strive to implement better policies. I am also posting information on the media, social media, and YouTube to deepen public understanding of this issue, and I update my X and blog every day. Finally, I'd like to summarize my efforts so far and my outlook for the future, including a new perspective. We have made great progress in addressing the issues facing Fukushima Prefecture. One of these is the decision to release treated water into the ocean. This issue was also blocked for a long time by some media and opposition lawmakers who mistakenly called the treated water contaminated water. However, the power of science and political determination finally paved the way. In Diet questions, I have raised the issue of treated water and the issue of overdiagnosis of thyroid cancer together as much as possible. What both have in common is the importance of policy decisions based on scientific evidence. Just like the release of treated water into the ocean, I am convinced that the issue of the thyroid examination can also be resolved with the power of science and politics. The issue of the thyroid examination is a complex and important issue that intertwines science and politics, theory and emotion. However, it is precisely because it is difficult that politicians have a role to play. That role is to promote correct policies with a long-term perspective, even if they are unpopular with the public. As the issue of treated water has shown, policies based on scientific evidence should ultimately be able to gain the understanding of society. In the future, through this issue, I would like to use this opportunity to advance dialogue and consider from a broader perspective how to reflect scientific knowledge in policies, how risk communication should be conducted, and how long-term health surveys should be conducted. Finally, I will answer some questions you sent me in advance. First question. I've noticed that comments from Diet members who have no understanding of overdiagnosis are quite prominent, so I wonder if it would be possible to hold study sessions in the Diet for Diet members to learn about overdiagnosis. This is a very important point. Liberal Democratic Party member Goshi Hosono also brought up this issue in the Diet. The comments made by ruling party members have a great influence, so I think it's necessary to hold bipartisan study sessions to prevent this trend from tapering off. I think that sharing scientific knowledge will lead to more constructive discussions. The second question. The bureaucrats of the Ministry of the Environment are trying to cover up the damage caused by overdiagnosis. It is true that the Ministry of the Environment is noticeably cautious in its response. However, I believe that this is not a cover-up, but rather a bureaucratic tendency to take various opinions into account and follow precedent as much as possible. Even if it is not conspiracy or a cover-up, I think it is very unfortunate that then Environment Minister Yamaguchi said, "Overdiagnosis is not my concern." The third question. What do you think about the current situation, where even though the damage is spreading so much, there is no opinion from academic society or Fukushima Medical University that the thyroid examination should be changed or reduced? I'm also concerned about this. However, unfortunately, the current situation is that there is a gap between scientific opinion and social opinion. This is similar to the issue of the relocation of Tsukiji market, which I experienced. Even though the safety of Toyosu market had been proven, we were swayed by opinions that we could not feel safe. Reflecting on this, I understand to a certain extent the intention of those involved in taking a cautious stance on this issue, but I still believe that ultimately a decision made on scientific evidence is necessary. So I think that politicians, including myself, should make an effort. Fourth question is, what kind of method would be considered if a political solution were to be sought, as was the case when overdiagnosis related to neuroblastoma screening occurred? I think this would be a decision to be made by the ruling party and the governor of Fukushima Prefecture. For example, an independent committee of experts would need to be set up to make an objective evaluation, and then the governor of the Fukushima Prefecture would make a decision. Fifth question is, when you raised the issue of overdiagnosis of thyroid cancer in the Diet, did you receive any complaints or did you face any opposition to raising the issue? To my surprise, there were no complaints. Rather, I received voices of support from many people. As a result, I am able to speak here today, and I am very encouraged by such support. Of course, there is some criticism on social media, but I think it is important that there are so many voices of support. I am grateful for receiving such words of support and for having this opportunity to speak. I will continue to work hard to address the issue of overdiagnosis of thyroid cancer and the issue of damage to Fukushima's reputation. I apologize for not being able to be here today. I will continue to do my best, so I appreciate your guidance and encouragement. Thank you for listening to me.